Hello ma'am, my name is Ajay Jadhav and today's date is 7 October and today I will choose topic Spring Data Management and JDBC. Spring Data Management and JDBC, it is a part of Spring Data, is an ecosystem of a strength boot and approach of a working of a relation and databases using into the SQL that will be simply to object to, unlike we can hash to the simple Spring Data JPA built into the JPA. Persistent of API and ORM has to mapping of forward to the mapping data has to JDBC focus. One we can direct into the abstracts of our international databases make to idle and application that will be required to the high performance and simplify that will be a core and concept of to simplicity and will be president and that will be Spring Data JDBC has to the priorities of simplify to the predicted and minimizing of abstraction layer between application of databases, avoiding of complexities and ORM as to the framework to the provide that clear of straightforward way to map and that will be databases with Java object. That will be Java object as executed directly ensuring with result of evident that will be immediately direct on the mapping and Spring Data JDBC as to the right your optimize and that will be curious to direct to gain as to the syntax as a programming language is as well as to the object oriented programming concept as well as to the programming concept to the framework basic concepts such as just like give the dependency injections, Spring Boot, and that will be features of SQL and relational databases knowing. The relational databases knowing that will be know about basic knowledges of the SQL and that will be relational of a database might be we can use to giving of discussing and someone we can know quite about that will be about technical concept of the column, technical concept of the table and columns as to relationship approach. We can eliminate that we need to the ORM mapping and that will be making to the easier to the tailor that will be SQL that will be needed into the improving into the performance to focusing on director of SQL and execution of often we can lead to the faster application almost we can has to performance to compare ORM based solutions that will be performance into the Spring Data and Spring JDBC has to enhance has to performing that executing of queries directly we can has to data resources and that will be bypassing of overhead that will be associated of framework and that will be approach we can reduce amount of server and load up handle high to demand and condition known as to the before we can has to study and Spring Data and Spring JDBC we can has to the first we can basic of understanding with the following of Java it gives the must of gain of skill and syntax of Java. The Java programming is as with object oriented programming concept in a Spring framework. In Spring framework we can give the basic concept such as dependency injections, Spring Boot features just like dependency injection and Spring Boot features as to SQL research and relation of knowing of basic knowledge of SQL, the knowledge of Java and SQL has to relation to the databases might we can has to use to using of discussing with each given sum we can have to quite and about that technical concept. The technical concept of a column has to the that will be concept of a table and column of a relationships. Thank you, ma'am.